Hey guys, what's up? I am going to be going through the books that I have read the last 2 months. Ooh. We've had some good books that I've been reading. A lot of anticipated books of the year had came out and I've read them. So I'm going to go through them, give you my thoughts, not my ratings, because I have the inability to rate something on a scale of 1 to 5. I don't do that. If I didn't know that I was going to like it, I probably wouldn't have started reading it. So I liked all these books. Some of it more than others, and you'll just see that in my descriptions. No star ratings, because that's not for me. Starting off strong, real strong. Summer in the City by Alex Astor. I know a lot of people had read Lightlark and her other books and such, and you'll see, after reading this one, I went back and I read Lightlark. I was convinced, as her as an author, to read more. This book, it was a rom-com type of book. They were in New York City and they ended up being neighbors with one another in the apartment. The guy, what's he even do? I don't know, but he makes a lot of money. I think he does tech something. That sounds about right. Business owner something. I don't know. Man's got a lot of money. Girl doesn't. Oh, that's wonderful. We love putting them next to each other. They start off hating each other because they had met previously a few months and not a very good first encounter. Uh-oh. At least from her perspective. Somehow they get in some arrangement that they're going to be fake dating because she's a screenwriter and she is trying to get some inspiration for her new play thing that she needs to write, and she's just always inside doing nothing fun with her life, and he is doing some fancy pants business. I don't know what business people do. Contract? I don't know, he's got some business deal coming up and he needs to look all sophisticated, and for some reason he'll look better if he has a girlfriend. Huh? Because I don't know, people are nosy like that. Some losers are nosy like that. They have this fake dating arrangement and they're just going to all these cute little places in New York, having these cute little dates and such. She like potentially smiles at some piece of jewelry and he's like, yep, let me buy it. $100,000, yep, that one right there. I'm gonna buy it for her at some auction. And she's like, I was smiling at the thing like next to it, but thanks. Oh no, actually this girl did not appreciate when he would spend money on her. Guess what? She loved this one scone at this little bakery and they stopped serving it. Crazy, right? He buys the bakery. Daddy. He buys it. He buys it for her so he can force them to start selling the scone again. That's the only convincing I would need to read a book like this. That's wonderful. We need to see more of that in life. Waiting for someone to buy me a bakery. Thank you. Oh, it's becoming a movie. Fantastic, amazing, we'll be watching. Moving on. I read Flawless. It was like a cowboy type of romance. It was like pretty good. I would say probably not as good as the one I previously read. See, there's a comparison for you. Take that into account on your rating system that some of you love so much. This girl is working with this professional bull rider. I know nothing about the bull riding business. And I feel like I'm just not into the country lifestyle like that. So, you know, personally, I probably wouldn't be going out of my way to acquire myself a bull rider. But she did. She had a great time with him. Wow, I don't remember much of this and I read it just 2 months ago. So, you know what, actually we need to pause because I need to look at my new nails. Oh, yeah. Look at that. We got some strawberry, blueberry action. Fantastic, amazing. She has a lot in her series. I feel like people who just like that more rugged cowboy western type of reads are gonna like it. That's not what I really like. This one was cute. They're going out to the fancy pants parties of New York and I feel like that's more of my style than some little western bar thing. Personal preference. Okay, next, this book, I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I read this. I think there was some miscommunication between my ability to read the back cover and what this book was about. I missed one key phrase. So we read Pucking Around. Now you're already like, yeah, that's pucking around? Yeah, okay, so that's gonna be like probably a questionable title. I read the whole back and like she can't fall for a player, let alone 3. I'm assuming this is like not a love triangle, but I guess some love. Not a square, she'd be at the top, like some love quadrilateral going on here. But I didn't read this little part up here where it clearly says why choose. She wasn't choosing between these 3 hockey players. She was acquiring all three separate times and same time. There was a lot going on. There were a lot of just script scenes going on, and I was frightened a little, but in a good way. Maybe. This girl goes and she's residenting. I don't know how doctor things work. She's like working for this new hockey team. She's living next to one of the players. You know, they like set it up that he's gonna pick her up from the airport and everything. So she's living next to him. Does she get with the, I don't even remember. I can't tell these boys apart. I'm sorry. They just all started blending together. It was different points of view from all of them. And then I'd be like, okay, we're getting the point of view of the man who's like the equipment manager. We're getting the point of view of one of the other players. And then let me get the point of view of the goalie. And I was like, why are we getting the point of view of all 3 of these boys? They just all started getting together, all together, all 3 of them at the same time. It starts with her and just the equipment manager and one of the players who happen to be like best friends.
Oh my.
I don't know best friends that are actually doing this in real life, but they certainly were into it. They started getting with her together. And then she's really feeling things for the goalie too, because apparently these 2 boys just weren't enough for her. 2 hockey boys just weren't doing it, so she had to go out and find a 3rd one. She brings the goalie into their quadrilateral. They just all move into the same house together really quickly, because they're like, yeah, we all need to live together immediately. I don't know about that one. It's moving a little too fast for me. And there was just a lot of 3 things going at her all at once. One boy had piercings in a peculiar spot, and I don't know how those piercings worked, and I don't know how things weren't getting caught or ripped, and I don't really want that in my life. I don't know how those function, and I don't want to know. I guess I really missed where it says it's spicy and it's why choose with these hot options, because yeah, they were being hot and spicy throughout this whole thing. I mean, actually great story, great character development throughout. For all 4 of them, we got their full character development, so that's lovely. So a fun book, a fun read, a questionable read, but we need that sometimes. Next, I read another questionable sounding book. This one I knew was going to be questionable from the start, so I didn't really get caught off guard. I read Planet Barbarians. So you already see by that cover, there's some big blue alien man.
What did you say?
I don't know, this girl gets abducted, not by the blue aliens, by some other bad aliens. And they drop her and these other girls off on this like ice planet. Apparently this one girl goes around and is exploring and stuff. She runs into Mr. Blue Alien, and then he starts buzzing, vibrating from within, because his special like love cells and such are going crazy. And he's like, I found my mate. I don't like the term mate. That's something, but that's a choice. That's how their alien world works. And he's like, human girl, you are mine. Then he greets her by licking in places, licking. There's some, yeah, his alien tongue. There were descriptions, bumps, and we were very descriptive in the alien appendages in this one. I don't know how I personally feel about that, but she felt real good, so that's great for this girl. She ends up staying with him, I guess, if you want to hear the spoiler. Then she gets like pregnant with his alien baby. And that's where I was kind of like, ugh, I don't really want to continue reading on. Like, I don't need that in my life. I don't want to have that to read about. There was like a long bonus scene at the end, like real long. Honestly, once I got to that point, I was like, I don't really want to read any more of this. So I have not read the bonus content in that book, and I don't know if I will be getting to it. So I think I'm stopping there with that series, but some great world building of this blue alien planet. So it was something. Then I read The Chase by Elle Kennedy. It's always a good book when Elle Kennedy writes it, so I already knew it was going to be cute going into it. This is the first one in the Briar U series. She has all her books in here. I've read for the first 3 in this, and then this one has like 3 books now, and I've read all those. So I was like, yeah, let's start on this new series. What was this one about? All the hockey boys just kind of start blending together, and I don't mind. Same book, different font, just give it to me, and I'll read it. Oh, This girl, something happens with her living situation. She switches schools, and then she moves in with these hockey boys. Wow, we're moving in with hockey boys, but this one was before she started getting with them. There was some love triangle action because she was kind of going back and forth with the roommate, but she really liked the other guy a bit more. And then they ended up just getting together at the end, and it was just a cute, easy read. I'll just read the same sort of book, but they're like very different characters in them. But sorry that I don't have the best memory of differences between these people. Like, what was this girl's name? His name was Fitzy or Fitzgerald, but what's the girl's name? Summer. Couldn't have told you that. Next, we did a pretty big switch up for me. I read this Zodiac Academy book. This is a big chunky book. This is like a 500 page. They're at some magic academy. These two girls like just turned 18 and then they get brought to this magic college in some other realm, and they didn't know that they had these special powers and that they're supposed to inherit this special Zodiac land world. They definitely have a world for the land and stuff, but I don't really know it. But I got into this so much. I was zooming through this book and I didn't expect it. There really wasn't any romance in this one. Well, there were at some points. This end part could be a bit of a spoiler. And I was feeling like, yay, they're beginning of their little romance. There's a lot of books in this series.
Whoa!
That's a long list. There's a lot of books in a series. So I was like, oh, how cute. They're starting to potentially get with these boys, you know, at the end. But then those boys just did trickery on them. And I felt betrayed for them. I feel so bad for these girls. They're twins. It's like these 4 other guys are supposed to be like the heirs because they thought that these 2 girls had been dead this whole time who were supposed to inherit it, and it's just them learning their magical powers, and half the people at the school love them because they're the rightful heirs, and the other half don't like them because they like these big strong boys who are supposed to take over. I just got into it more than I thought I would. I've already bought the second book, so that's probably gonna be my next read. There really wasn't hints of romance until the very end of it, and they were fake romance bits. They were trickery. I'm invested. These girls, like, they actually like went through a lot. They were getting bullied. They were getting like bad things done to them. It was just a good story. There's a lot of books, which is good for me to have another series. After that, another anticipated read of the year, King of Envy by Anna Huang. We already know we love the Anna Huang books. I've read every single one of them except for The Defender because that hasn't come out yet. I think I've already pre-ordered it. Have I pre-ordered it? I may need to check. And if I haven't pre-ordered it, I'm gonna pre-order it. It was a bit of an interesting little backstory. So the main girl is engaged, but it's considered like a marriage of convenience type of thing. This guy needs to be married or else his family's not going to give him his inheritance if he doesn't like get married and stay married before this grandma dies or something like that. She's gonna get a bunch of money out of it, and she needs the money to get out of this like really toxic like modeling contract. She's like, okay, what's a couple years? Let me just marry this guy. Like, we're chill with each other, but it's like nothing romantic like that. Like, the guy never wants to get married. He just has no feelings for anyone. The guy's best friend, the best man in the wedding, oh, he's in love with this model. Oh, this guy's thinking, oh, I'm having these horrible bad thoughts about my best friend's fiance, but he doesn't know it's a fake relationship because they haven't told anyone. Like, he's the main guy then, obviously they get together at the end, but he's more of a very like morally gray character. He's out there beating people up, has got some connections to something called like the Brotherhood, which is secret bad society people. He was dealing with that stuff, and then they bring the girl into it because they're like, oh, we found his weakness. We know that he likes her. Then he's feeling bad because he thinks that she's cheating on his best friend, and then they end up telling him like, no, we're like actually not getting married for that. And then I don't know, he sorts it out with his family and all this, and they're like, yeah, it's okay if you don't get married. So then obviously they get together at the end. I'll be reading anything that she writes. And next, I read Lightlark by Alex Astor. This is more of a young adult. There's all these rulers of these different isles. Isles? Is that the word for it? I'm telling you, I read these books, I enjoy them, but sometimes the small little details just don't really matter to me. They're all coming together. Once every 100 years, there's some special thing that goes on and they need to try to break these curses. Each aisle is cursed in a different way. Main girl is the ruler of hers, but plot twist, she doesn't have a special power. Well, all the people who live in the different aisles all have these different powers, so she's literally a powerless ruler and she's trying to keep it hidden. This one's an actual love triangle. It's going on between her, a ruler of one of the other lands. His name is Grim. He's all darkened. Woo, he does shadow powers. Who else does shadow powers? Zayden Ryerson. I don't know what it is with these guys all just having these shadow powers. Whatever in the world that means, but he's got shadow powers, so we already know he's gonna be hot. We love boys who wield shadows. She also, like, getting with, no, they're not getting with each other, just like nothing of that sort. She's also liking the king of Lightlark. Like, look at this girl pulling the king and a guy who does shadow powers. Go her. Yeah. End of this book, I didn't see the twist coming. I didn't see him coming. I didn't see him coming from a mile away. There were so many twists at the end and I didn't know what to do with myself. And I don't know how this girl got through with all this, but I would have failed these quests and such because I just can't do things like that. And now I'll be reading the second one at some point. I'm sure I will. But it was a good book. I said that that girl was powerless, and now what else did I read? I read a book that was literally just called Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So this is another YA book. Look at me being so wholesome over here. So this one, there's some trials type of things happening in the book. Main girl's like fighting in it. She doesn't have any powers, hence the title, Powerless. Very unrelated books, but very ironic that it's both girls that don't have any powers, but she's really good with a knife. She's got some crazy fighting skills. Her little love interest is one of the princes. He's not the prince that's going to become the king. It's the prince who is going to be the enforcer of the land. So he's like in charge of the army. So they're doing these trials. It's kind of giving like Hunger Games, but they're not like trapped in an arena, but they kind of have to do these different presentations, do some challenges working together. The end just started going wonky. Like, I don't know what was going on. We got like 2 more books in this series. There's some craziness going on. And then that brings us up to date to the last book that I just finished like 2 days ago, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. So this book, Ali Hazelwood, she's another real good one that I'll just be reading all the books. This one is based in like a academia-like setting. Bill is an adjunct professor and she's just trying to get a regular researcher position so she can mainly do research because she's like teaching at 3 different schools and like barely making any money. There's some academia drama. She's a physicist and she's a theoretical physicist, and then there's also these experimental physicists. And apparently there's some tension between the 2 types because this one guy wrote this article years and years ago, like 15 years ago or something, that was bashing theoretical, these are big words, theoretical physicists. There are big words in this book for me. That field is kind of like, hasn't had the best funding and stuff. Her advisor was the one who was in charge of the journal when this like bogus article was published. So her advisor's been looked at really badly, but that's the lab that she ended up getting into. The girl, because she was making like no money, teaching at 3 different universities, she was still making no money because that's how they'd be paying those adjunct professors like that. She was on this like fake dating website where she could get hired to be like a fake date. So, oh, guess what? Crazy little backstory here. She's brought as a date by this one guy, and guess who his brother is? Guess who his brother is? His brother is the guy who wrote that article so many years ago, trashing her field, and that brother is an experimental physicist. So, ooh, she ends up getting an interview for a position at MIT, and guess what? That guy's a professor there as well. There's a whole lot of academic dramas and such, and some crazy connected backstories. That was a real good book. And that brings us up to date with what I've read in the last 2 months. I feel like that's a pretty good chunk of books right there. Where am I at for the year? I feel like I need to pick up the pace. Not a competition, but it is inside my head because I'm not reading enough books, but I don't have the time, and that's really unfortunate. So the next book I'm probably going to read is the next book in the Zodiac Academy series, simply because I've bought it. I am not the type of person to have a bunch of to-be-read books sitting around. If I'm going to buy a book, I buy maybe 2 or 3 at a time, and that's pushing it, because I really only have a backlog of 2, maybe 3 books available to me, because why am I going to buy 10,000 books and then just end up buying new ones and not even getting to those? But you know what? Some people do that. Go you. Do what you want. Please drop your suggestions. You see what I like to read. I feel like a lot of people like to read these sorts of books, so you tell me what I'm missing out on. So thank you for listening to my little book chat. Well, that is all for today, and we'll talk to you guys next time.